Okay, let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome at the Startup Club and the Food, Beverage and AgriTech Pitch Night. I hope you can all hear me all right. My name is Mathilde and I am based in Prague in Czech Republic, and I am your host tonight. I am moderating several events at the Startup Club. This is one of them. I also host fashion, beauty and luxury events and green tech events. It's a pleasure to welcome you here tonight. And in a minute, I will be introducing you to 5 companies that will be pitching tonight. And I will also share the schedule in the chat, as well as the link to all the decks. So yes, also if you want to share your contact details in the chat, you can do that, and like to start the networking with the attendees. And you can also use the chat to send me private messages or also to any other attendee. And you can interact also in the asking questions in the general chat that if we have some more time, we can read out, but usually by experience, we don't have that much time over. So, and also we have like 5 companies and also 6 advisors. So I think we will be finishing on time around latest 8 p.m. my time. So yeah, so now shortly about the Startup Club. What is the Startup Club? It's a one-stop shop for the global entrepreneur community. Our vision is to assist businesses in their funding rounds and growth by connecting entrepreneurs with investors, advisors, and mentors in the startup ecosystem internationally. And we do it through a series of pitch nights and investor networking conferences. So currently we host pitch events in various industries. I already mentioned 3, but we also have EdTech, Health Tech, and also AI. Yeah, AI, which is a new conference that we are having now. I will share links to sign up for free tickets in the chat, also like during the events. So as I said, we have 5 companies tonight in the food, beverage, and agri-tech fields. Very happy to welcome you all this evening. The first pitch of the evening is E2G Food with Pete Henderson. E2G Food delivers nutrition, community empowerment, and trackable aid powered by retail impact bar with supporting relief. Pitch number 2 is Spaceling, a platform that puts users first, celebrating diversity and inclusion, with Michael Sperling. Pitch number 3, Enviro.Farm, land regeneration, climate adaptation, and top management, presented by William Tooley. Pitch number 4, Proon-Tech, AI tools for tree management, reducing cost and unlocking biomass value, presented by Thea Jardim. Pitch number 5, Vessa is a personal AI restaurant concierge via WhatsApp, presented by Peter Farrell. Yes, so these are the 5 presenters tonight. The advisors, we have Francisco Jardim, Oren Hyman, Amber DeWitt, Andrews Bitek, Flynn Seeger, and Maisie Kern. Apologies if I mispronounce the names. So I would like to ask the advisors if they could introduce themselves and do a short roundtable. So Francisco, would you like to introduce yourself first? Hello? Do we have Francisco?
If it's okay that I will start. Oren Hyman,
sure.
speaking from Israel.
Oren. Hi, Oren.
Yeah, CEO of Nature Growth, an AgTech incubator set in the south of Israel. Very nice to meet you all. Thank you for organizing this. I'm going to be on mute since I'm in a medical treatment with my son.
Okay, thank you. Welcome at the event. Great that you could be here. And who would like to go next? Amber, maybe?
Yeah, I'm happy to go next. Thanks, you guys, for having me. Amber DeWitt from Fulcrum Global Capital. Fulcrum is an ag tech VC based in Kansas City, Missouri, in the US. We invest globally across ag tech, animal health, and really the full food value chain. We primarily invest at the Series A stage. And one unique fact about Fulcrum is that a majority of our investors are large scale farmers and ranchers from the Midwest region. So our money comes from farmers and we use their input to help kind of inform us on how we make our investment decisions.
Thank you very much and welcome at the event. Who would like to go next? Andrew, perhaps? Andrew Zbitek?
Sure. Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew, and I'm from Agri-Food Ventures. I'm the managing partner, and we are supporting startups in early stage. So we're all the way from idea to Series A, and we focus on ag tech, but also industrial tech, sometimes logistics or manufacturing when it's connected to agriculture or related fields. And I'm a founder, ex-founder myself, so I also love to help other founders to perfect their pitches, to make it easier for us investors to get what you're actually building. And yeah, looking forward to seeing the presentations and meeting new founders.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And then now let's ask Flynn for his introduction.
Hello, nice to meet everyone here. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Hi.
Perfect. I'm Flynn. I'm an analyst here at Oyster Bay. We are an agtech and food VC based in Hamburg, Germany, investing out of a fund we closed 2 weeks ago. We do seed and Series A along the entire food value chain as well. Come from a consumer good history, but do everything along the food value chain really. So robotics, supply chain, inputs, and yeah, nice to meet everyone.
Thank you very much, Flynn, and welcome. And let's hear the introduction from Maisie.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Good morning from Los Angeles. I'm an investor at Acre Venture Partners. We invest in food, ag tech, climate tech, human health, really internationally, but primarily in North and South America. We generally invest at the seed to Series B stages with like $1 to $10 million checks. So that's us.
Thank you very much. Okay, Francisco will probably join later. So let's, I will tell you a little bit about the format of the event. Each presenter will have 20 minutes in total to pitch and to receive the feedback. So there will be an alarm clock that will ring beep after 7 minutes. That's the recommended time to stop the pitch and to move to the Q&A. But if someone wants to continue talk longer than 7 minutes or shorter, that's possible. But just keep in mind that it's 20 minutes in total per company. Yes, so that's the timer and okay. Yeah, I think that's it for the introduction. We can go right into the first pitch, which is E2G Food with Pete. So Pete, whenever you're ready, you can share your screen and I will start the timer.
Okay, I can't see it now. Hi, everybody. Pete here. Can you see the screen okay?
Yes, perfect. Yeah.
Lovely to meet you. So to give you a little bit of background, I'm from South Africa originally, and I basically started my media experience working with the BBC, and I was an international journalist for many years, so covered wars. The picture on the left-hand side there is me in Israel as a younger chap, and I'm a previously exited founder. I built up a media company that basically had offices in Sydney, Singapore, Cyprus, Johannesburg, London, Miami, and we sold it for about $380 million in 2020. And I decided, what should I do next? And obviously, I had this amazing sort of feeling, do I go skiing or do I think about the world? And one of the things that really haunted me was the pictures that I'd seen as a news cameraman traveling around the world. And the picture on the right there is in Ethiopia, where there was a big famine. And I was sitting in Eritrea and seeing all these really, really hungry people thinking, oh my God, all they need is food, and wondering how we could actually feed them. And years later, when I had basically got into solar energy in Poland, I came across a farm that was growing spirulina. And I didn't know what to do with all this green powder. And I thought, that's it, I'm going to make food bars. So we basically took the spirulina, which is a superfood, and we created a humanitarian food bar. I phoned up Cindy McCain from the World Food Program in Rome and said, can I come visit you? I went there and I said, have I got a solution for you? We can feed the world far more nutritiously with proper food that's healthy. There's no cooking, no heating, no refrigeration, nothing else required apart from just dropping 10,000 on a pallet out of the back of a plane in South Sudan, and you'll be able to feed people. And she was stunned and thought it tasted nice and was a good idea. But then when I looked at the whole system, I realized that actually you can't just feed because it all runs out. We have to grow. So we needed to look at the whole system and take it from a centralized feeding system of America feeling responsible for the world with the World Food Program to turn it into a localized growing program. So our business really has 4 aspects to it. We provide our humanitarian food bars. We grow spirulina at a grassroots level. The picture in the middle there with the person on the pond is in Zimbabwe, where we're feeding like 500 people a day. And then a big part of my ambition was to track our impact, because, you know, as a founder, everybody says, give us money for food aid and for different projects, but you have no idea where it goes. So we wanted to take the mystery out of humanitarian food aid and create an app that basically allowed us to track our impact. So we actually have an app called Track Your Impact as well. And then we are producing a B2C bar, which I guess will be interesting to a lot of our investors here and audience, because that's maybe where you're more familiar with. So far, we've got factories in South Africa where we can produce about 100,000 bars a day, 300,000 bars a day in Dubai. We can do about 250,000 bars in Sri Lanka, and we're opening up our first factory in Miami in January. To date, we've sent food bars to 20 countries. The first place I sent to was the earthquake in Turkey. And then we sent to Ukraine. I think tomorrow or the next day, we're sending 50 or 60,000 food bars to Gaza, and the World Central Kitchen are distributing that. And I was personally in Jamaica last week, where we were handing out food bars to people in Jamaica who were affected by the hurricane. So the way that it works is we select a charity on the ground, people like the Lions or iAfrica or United Way or World Central Kitchen. They basically are the distribution partners. We produce the food bars. We are a corporate social, we are a impact company, so we're not a 501c. And so we basically produce our food bars for around $1. We sell them for $2, which allows us then to have the money for distribution and delivery and give a return back to our investors. So far on our app, we've got about 1,000 users on the app who've donated over $200,000 worth of food bars. We've got 15 partnerships, and we've got ambassadors in about 40 countries. I've put about $1 million into the business myself so far. We've raised another 1.3, and we're now raising 8 million to take us to scale. And that scale is going to be spent on basically rolling out the app, the IP a little bit, and the platform that we've got, increasing our capacity in production and moving more into corporate America and launching something called the Impact Bar. And the Impact Bar is basically a food bar that's got 30 grams of protein, 14 grams of fiber, and only 190 calories. And it's focusing on the wellness and weight loss industry here in the UK, which has got about 1.5 million people in it. And the reason we're doing that is E2G stands for Eat to Give. So every time you buy an impact bar or a box of impact bars, 1 bar will be handed over to charity. So to put it in a nutshell, basically ex-cameraman, previously exited founder, making an impact, trying to tackle 700 million people who go to bed hungry every night with a new innovative technology, providing food at a decentralized local level that's nutritious, dates, oats, etc., made out of all natural ingredients, and having a business model behind it so that investors can get involved and make some money out of it at the same time. So I'm here to raise that money and talk to you guys and see if any of this resonates with you, if there's any interest. Over to the questions.
Thank you very much for the pitch, Peter. We will now move to the Q&A part, and we can start with Oren.
Sorry, I actually should have given you one more slide to talk to, but that's fine. You can read it and ask questions.
Okay. Or Amber?
Yeah, happy to jump in. Peter, I think I'm a little confused on exactly who the app users are and what purpose the app serves for the company.
When I tried to sell the food bars to the World Food Program, it was going to take 2 years and be a pain in the ass trying to work with them. And my wife got a text message saying her blood had just been used at a hospital nearby and her eyes lit up. And I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if I could send anybody a message saying your $2 donation has just been delivered to Ukraine. So it's an app for anybody who wants to basically make an impact. You go on the app, track your impact, you make a $2 donation and get a message saying food's been delivered and it's out for delivery and here's a picture of it being delivered. So please do look at Track Your Impact. It's on the App Store and Google Store. And at the moment, we basically getting every single day, we're getting people downloading the app. And I can go onto it right now and I can see that 1,000 people have downloaded it and donated 106,000 food bars. So we know if we get 2 million people to download the app, we'll basically generate $40 million a year from the app. And that's going to be a major funding part of the company.
Okay. Thank you, Amber, for the question. And let's hear from Andrew.
Thank you so much for the pitch, and thank you for doing this. This seems like something the world needs more of. So I had a similar question about the app because what I struggle with that there seems to be a little bit of lack of focus, or I'm just not understanding the whole picture because it seems that you have a charity program, that's the food bars. Then you have the impact bar, which is like a normal, let's say, protein bar for people who want extra good feeling of donating at the same time as buying the impact bar. And then there is the app. So how are those?
Let me try and put it into focus. We are a humanitarian food aid company supplying nutritious food around the world. The way that that's funded is in two ways. People buy the bars, like the World Central Kitchen will come and buy 4
And
pallets.
they buy which ones? They buy
they
food
buy the
right?
humanitarian food bars that have got 500 calories, 30 grams of protein, and all the micronutrients and minerals for a meal, basically. It's a meal replacement.
Okay.
So, for example, I sent out an invoice for $81,000 today to the World Central Kitchen. They bought the bars and I'm delivering them to Gaza for them. The second thing is that people, individuals like you and me and all my friends, they can go on the app and they can make an impact themselves by buying 1 bar at a time and sending it to 12 different campaigns that we're highlighting. So that's exactly the same thing. The money comes through Stripe straight into our account. We supply the bars. And then when we get 10,000 bars, we deliver that pallet to a location that campaign's been done. And that's all very structured and easy to understand. The idea of the commercial bar is only for next year because we want to have an eat to give. It's just another revenue stream for us, basically. But let me just go back to the app for a second. The world.
Let me ask you a follow-up question. So if let me reiterate once again, if I got it right. So you are offering those food bars for people who are starving, and charitable organizations like Central Kitchen are buying them from you. So the question would be, why your bars? Like, why not just some UN-sanctioned formula for malnutrition. What's so special about your bars? Why would those organizations buy from you and not from someone else?
Okay, so I worked with the World Health Organization and also with the World Food Program, and we created 11 recipes and designed it along the lines of what they call a fortified full meal. And spirulina is this incredible superfood that's a protein, that's a full amino acid. So when somebody eats one of our food bars, it's most probably the healthiest food bar you'll ever eat in the world, because it's got a full balanced amino acid profile and it's got all the health benefits of eating one. So 2 a day is like, or 2 bars is like a meal replacement. So it's designed more almost like a pharmaceutical product rather than a snack bar.
Okay, and why can't, what do you have the patented recipe, or what's your mode there? Why I just can't copy it? Yeah.
So we obviously it's our own recipe and we own it, but we also control the spirulina in some cases where we grow spirulina and we introduce that into our product. So it's really the formula and the access and the factories and the technology behind our app that allows us to control our own destiny, really.
Okay. And I guess the last question, very quick one. The app is only for consumers, like B2C people, basically individuals who want to donate, or organizations like the Central Kitchen are also using the app?
So it's called Track Your Impact and not E2G Food, because we can have multiple layers of people in the future that will use it as a SaaS platform. So we would be able to highlight other people's products, from mosquito nets to, pills, to anything we want for people who want to track. In fact, Abbott Laboratory is working with us at the moment to do malnutrition management in Africa with their clinics, where they can actually, order a food bar to supply a problem or sort out a problem. So it's very scalable and selectable. But we own that. We've made it our own. We built it. It's our platform, and it's a very powerful platform.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Maisie, would you like to go next?
Yeah, what are you looking for? Because it is kind of a unique business. Not that, similar things. I mean, Tom's comes to mind, obviously. But because it is sort of unique, what are you looking for in an investment partner for this next phase of growth? Who is your ideal lead investor?
I would say most probably, and I'm narrowing it down a little bit, but a US investor would be my first choice, because I think that that's part of our market that we're going to be focusing on a lot next year. And so US investor, I know that you do 1 to 10 million. We're asking for 8. That's probably exactly the right kind of size of investment. And we'd be looking at somebody who would help us scale and bring more than just money, but industry context, experience to roll out the business and grow with us and exit eventually.
So it's primarily just the geography piece.
I would say, and industry experience, all in the food industry. So, I mean, I've watched the David Bar and the success of that over the last 12 months. And I went to a PEF forum in Miami last November and tried it for the first time, and I'm stunned by its success. And we've got some ideas on how we'd like to follow that strategy.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, basically there are 2 types of investors: early investors who are coming in at $100,000 up to $1 million, who are going to get preferential B-class pref shares at a 14% return per year, with a convertible option to when we'd have a big event where they can have a discount, a bit like a safe. And then we have the larger investor who's going to come in at 7-8 million, who we're going to sell up to 30% equity in the business and say, let's now build this thing together and scale it and make it seriously successful on a global basis.
Okay, thank you, Maisie. Now, Oren?
Yes, very excited by the prospect of combining business with philanthropy, combining agriculture with food. I'm more excited about the agricultural aspects. I wanted to know the method of growing spirulina. Is that something that is unique in any way? Is there any IP about that? Or the agriculture elements are, basic boilerplate growing spirulina?
Spirulina as a product on its own doesn't make sense and has never really successfully been farmed at scale and made a return. But the way that we've done it, where it makes an impact, has been completely different. In Zimbabwe, we spent $200,000. We built 2 big spirulina farms, covered them in raceways, connected the local school to the actual growing process and learning. We have a curriculum for them to learn about farming. And then we have the women, because they're much better than the men, who are actually doing the farming and the harvesting. And we're harvesting every 4 days. And from that 4-day harvest, we're feeding 500 people in the village a spoonful of spirulina every day into their local food source, which is the same as a leg of chicken or a bit of goat. So they're not having to kill their animals. They're feeding themselves a high protein source. The kids have been educated. It's using recyclable water, solar energy. It's completely off grid. And then the women are actually taking sachets of spirulina and selling it in the local community to put into food. So it's an income generating source as well. So when you look at the circular system of healthy eating, healthy growing, education, and a new way of feeding people at a local level, it's a pioneering structure that we've invented, designed, created, and specialized in, and can easily be replicated at scale.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the answer.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Owen. Now we have also Flynn.
Hi, yes.
Yeah.
One question that I have is around who do you actually make money from? So, because as I understood it, you have customers who are charitable people, and you took examples such as David Bar, which are lifestyle products and people buy in retail. And then the other side are the people who want to donate to charity, who then...
So that's a very good question, Flynn, and I'll separate it because, sorry, I interrupt you, carry on.
Just wanted to finish that thought, because the second person who is your customer, or your donation partner, he then has to, or she then has to give $1 out of $2 to you instead of to charity. So I donate 100K and the 50K go to you, Peter. So who is the actual customer group, the target person that you're looking for?
Okay, so if we look at the app, and it's very clear and it's written throughout the app, if you donate $2, $1 costs the cost of manufacture, 50 cents is the cost of getting it from the Dubai factory to South Sudan and delivered. And then 80% of your $2 that you've donated goes to the end user, which is actually higher than a lot of other UN organizations. And that money that goes through the app actually goes through a 501c charity in the USA. And so it's monitored and managed and controlled by all the rules and regulations of a charitable donation. So there's no discrepancy about where that money's been used. Where we make money as an organization is when we start to do the impact bar, build the spirulina farms, and come up with other income generating projects that we have to take us to scale. But it's very important. I didn't want to have just a charity because I've seen too many charities fail or projects fail when there's no business model behind it. So I needed to retain 20% of operating income to stay in the company, to do new development, new recipes, growth, and return to investors.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Owen. Okay, the third pitch tonight is Enviro.Farm with William. So William, whenever you're ready, you can share your screen. Hello? Can you...
You're muted, William. Yeah, no, it's
no, you weren't hearing me, and I apologize.
Oh, yeah. Now I can hear. Yeah.
I think it was Peter who recommended that we turn our mics back on when we wish to talk, and obviously I forgot to do that. Let me share my screen with you, but first I need to get to the screen that needed to be shared. Oh, it's here. out the right screen for you. Okay. I think we're sharing that screen. Matilda, is that screen coming through for you?
Yes, I can see the screen.
All right. And is it full screen as you suggested earlier, or is it just?
Yeah, that would be better. It's full screen.
Yeah. I think that's as full screen as I can get at the moment. Let me begin by simply introducing myself. I'm William Tooley. I have been working in agriculture since I was 8 years old, and I became enamored of something called conservation when I was a young boy in 5th grade, and that was part of the lesson. I went to my grandfather's farm. I grew up in northern Wisconsin with dairy and farming all around me. I went to my grandfather's farm to tell him that I'd learned something important and asked him if he knew about conservation. And he said, yes, come with me. I'll show you what we do. He took me back to his facility and showed me where they fed whey back to the cows, where they composted nutrient waste to spread on their fields, and how they used that kind of technology. And as a young child, I was just incredibly proud that my grandfather thought that what I was learning in school was important enough that he, in fact, was already using it and willing to show it to me. You can then understand that with farming in such good hands, nothing could go wrong. And yet, shortly thereafter, World War II ended. And at the end of World War II, there was a surplus of nitrogen not being used to bomb different countries in the world, but rather sitting in piles. And the factories that didn't exist before World War II were now saying, where do we get rid of this nitrogen? And somebody said, well, it's fertilizer. Of course, you all know this, but I'm sharing that story just to put things in perspective. We then saw farmers go into a golden era from 1945-50 to 1975-80, in which they could pour as much nitrogen as they liked on the fields that they were growing, as the field behind me in the picture. And they would get monstrous crops and tremendous output. And the world was hungry, and not many countries had the capability to produce food the way the US did. And therefore, it was almost an unstoppable and immensely rewarding moment for farmers. However, that changed. What the farmers weren't told and what they didn't know is that going on in their soil while they poured on nitrogen was in fact soil degradation. So fast forward till today, the numbers that I have for you are North American numbers. 74% of US farm acres can no longer produce the crops they produced last year without adding additional nitrogen to the soil, which causes the plants to search and mine for more micronutrients that are mostly used up. And therefore, if we've arrived at 74% of US soils that can't yield what they yielded last year, we have arrived at a crisis tipping point. How did we get here? Well, with the availability of factory nitrogen, farmers stopped doing what my grandfather did. They stopped recycling, they stopped composting, and they started producing yield. It came with a price. They now no longer had control of their inputs, and therefore they could be charged more and more for what they were building, what they were growing. However, they also had no control over their outputs, given the way that the climate and the farming world, the risks of the farming world would act, that some years they would get way less for their crop and some years they would get way more. So the farmer was just literally trapped in a commodity system that did not allow for escape, but does in fact deplete their soils to the state that we arrive at today. Today, regenerative soil monikers are highly in fashion, and I've attended a number of conferences recently to try to meet with investors that might be interested in regenerating soil, because that's what Enviro.Farm does. But it does it in a unique way. It realizes that the farmer cannot afford to regenerate his own soil. In fact, he cannot afford to acquire big data. He cannot afford to acquire new equipment. Frankly, he can't afford anything. And I've had this experience taking our base technology, Enviro.Farm's base technology, transforms nutrient waste into liquid fertilizer, immediately crop available and ready for application onto the field when crops need fertilizer most. And that will increase yield 20 to 40% just by putting the same amount of fertilizer on at the right time. The farmers can't afford that kind of technology. They can't afford technology to do cover crop no-till because it costs them yield and money for a period of time. And when they're finished, their soils are no longer degrading. They're in fact starting to build back up. But as you know, that's a 100-year process. And they still have to pay off the loan that they took over the last 5 years to arrive at this point. So they've saved their farm and in effect destroyed their business. We've had banker after banker after banker turn down the farmer's request to use our base technology. Our base technology is very simple. It's a composting technology, but it's a liquid composting technology. And while it produces highly valuable fertilizer for sprinkling onto farms, you must have a way to sprinkle it because that's when the crop needs it. You must have a method for storing it, and so on. These costs are incurred by the farmer at a time when they know their farm is going to be lost in the future. And this has happened in human history multiple times, where the people who are using the ground simply wear it out. So to fast forward to Enviro.Farm, what we have occurring is a situation in which we must bring additional income streams to the farmer. And we do that by creating a cooperative arrangement with the person who owns the fields behind me to feed the animals that we have housed in the middle of this 10,000 acre property. And our minimum sized project, or our optimal sized project, I should say, is a 10,000 acre project. The project places, in this case, a dairy site and a cheese factory in the middle of the farming environment. It also installs irrigation pivots on the farm so that the crops can be fed as they need to. And what the crops are fed with is 99.9% true liquid fertilizer that contains all of the micronutrients and all of the carbon that the cows made available to us. And in our first step model, the project is a dairy cheese combination at the same site. By doing that, we eliminate hauling milk to the cheese factory. We eliminate hauling whey to some disposal site. We eliminate transporting manure in any way to the fields except by irrigation pivots. By cutting all of those costs, reducing the input, we also make available to the farmers that are working with us. And in the case of our pilot project, which is to be located in Bowdle, South Dakota, right in the middle of South Dakota, just below the North Dakota line. In the case of these farmers, we will in fact install pivots for them. And they asked us when we came to them, why would you put up a pivot? We don't have any water under our ground. And I said, that's so when drought strikes, you can take water out of our ponds and save your crop. while you're saving it, it will grow more because you're putting on more fertilizer. So Enviro.Farm is, in a sense, a very simple use of a very innovative composting design. It's a liquid composting design. We have a patent on circulators called Enviro circulators that rest on top of manure ponds to keep those ponds turning over and over, which is desirable in composting, 24 hours a day. And the process that occurs is an aerobic process, not an anaerobic process. As a result, the farmer has nutrients that he can feed to his crops when they need it. And hybrid crops today require 10 times as much fertilizer at the point of fruit production as they did all through the season. But normal cover crop and no-till, which we will be using, only provide an average amount of fertilizer available to the crop each day, as is the case with nature. So what we have done is made an arrangement with farmers. We don't buy their ground. We don't own their farm. We help them to rescue their farm. Made an arrangement with farmers that they will feed our animals and we will feed their crops. They buy our fertilizer from us. And of course, the question is, well, how much are you going to charge us for that? And the answer is, how much do you pay for nitrogen every year? And they go, well, it's this. I said, that's what you'll pay for what you receive from us. All the rest will come along for free, and it will begin to regenerate your soil by feeding the microbials and the nutrient needs of the soil itself. So the farmer supplies crops to us. We supply fertilizer to the farmer. We've moved the farmer, in a sense, up a notch by guaranteeing him an annual price that is 10% above the average 10-year price of crops he sold over the last 10 years. And therefore, he can never lose money. How do we have the money to do that? Well, we don't sell our milk to the cheese factory. We, in fact, take the milk that's produced by our cows and send it through the wall to our cheese factory, which then produces not commodity cheese, not pizza cheese, if you like, but specialty cheese, the kind you find on charcuterie boards when you go to cocktail parties, and the kind that, in fact, people are now beginning to use instead of snack items. Am I running out of time?
Yes, actually, I was going to propose to move to Q&A section now, if that's okay.
That would be fine. Actually,
Yeah,
what I'd like
only 8 minutes left.
What I'd like to do, if I may, is to run a 2.4-minute video for you that will give you something to ask more questions about. And if I run this video, you will see immediately.
Bill, can you turn the volume up?
Yes, we can't hear the sound, actually.
You can't hear it.
I'm looking to see if I can turn it up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is on the website. It's right on. It's the first button on the website.
I don't know. I mean, if there's no sound, maybe there's no.
I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter. Maybe we can have the feedback instead now.
Yeah, let's go ahead
Yeah?
with the
Okay.
feedback. And this video is available on our website, which is obviously Enviro.Farm.
Okay.
And if you wish to see it, you can see it there. It would help to provoke questions, but we'll go directly to questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the pitch. Okay, who would like to start? Is there someone who wants to go first?
Yeah, I can start.
Okay.
Thanks for the presentation, William. Question for you. How many farmers are you currently engaged with today, and how long have you guys kind of been in business working with farmers in this process?
Thank you, Amber. We have about 8 farmers who own 10,000 acres of degraded land in northern South Dakota. And they estimate they may have only 10 or less, 15 years maybe, of productive time left. When we got together with them, they quickly decided that this was the best deal that they had ever heard of, and it looked like it was in fact viable. So a number of those farmers and the community members put in seed funds for us to come here and speak with you. We did not ask them to invest in it. They asked us if in fact they could help us get this project started.
So are you currently operating? Are they currently growing for you guys? Help me understand where you guys are at.
Thank you.
in your business
Thank
journey.
you. So when they convinced us to accept their investment and let them participate with us, we then identified a site, have an option to purchase that site, have it permitted through county construction, state construction permits. We have designs. We had designs previously, but adapted now to that site. Technical services have been completed. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yes.
I don't mean to. That's the wrong idea. Hold on. Thank you. Okay, now I'm not sharing my screen. Or am I?
You
Yeah.
still are.
Well,
I can
how
do it
does
from
that
here.
happen?
It's
That's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, we can still
Thank
hear
you,
you
Matilda.
okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. If you can get rid of my screen, Matilda, that would be great.
It's gone. It's gone.
Now it's gone.
All right, much appreciated. It's distracting. Where did I leave off? Oh, the farmers asked us to go through the steps to make this project shovel ready. So we finished with geotech. We have our environmental permitting accepted, and we have available to us $25 million in environmental and economic bonds from the state of South Dakota for this startup project. The project is in effect immediately ready to go, but what it is building a factory. It takes 18 months to build that factory. So everything is in place to build the factory. We have the site prepared, we have the farmers contracted, and we have the environmental permits in place. So it's shovel ready with all permitting completed and all design finished, but we have not started to build yet. We have several of the initial contractors, the dirt work contractors lined up, but we haven't engaged their services as of yet. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that did. Thank you.
Thank you for that question, Amber. I appreciate
Thank you, Amber. Who wants to go next? Oren, perhaps?
Yeah, I would with such a pitch, what I would need is the scientific material to see how's this fertilizing system, how effective it is. That's the first thing that I would look into. And so I basically have no questions for the online webinar. But once you share the decks and the system, that's probably the first question that I'm going to be asking in writing.
Super. And thank you for that. It indicates why I've taken the approach that I have, which is kind of a loose and not highly focused approach, because there are individuals who have much deeper question knowledge than I might have anticipated, and you're one of them. Immediately, you would like to know how this works and where the proof is. So if you would go to our website, Enviro.Farm, you will find most of your answers immediately available to you there under one or another tab. Next.
Excellent. I'll do that.
Okay.
Thank you, Lauren.
Let me interrupt, please. If there's any delay or any problem, Warren, I can send you the exact publication by email. The
Mike.
USDA publication.
Mike, thank you. Lauren, the USDA demonstrated the effectiveness of this technology when we first invented it. And they are willing to support farmers in acquiring this technology so that it can be used to eliminate odor, eliminate emissions, eliminate pathogens, and create crop-ready fertilizer. So Mike is right. Mike, you'll have to send that to him. If you have a chat bar, he could give you his email. Lauren, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Warren, would you please send me please just send me your email address, and we can get that through Matilda or something, but I would like to get that, and I'll send it to you directly.
I will share a contact list after the event of to
Or
everyone.
Matilda, if you have Warren's email address, if you could send that to me, that would
I will
be.
share the list after the event. Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Absolutely. Okay, Andrew or Flynn or Macy?
Yeah, sure. Thanks very much, William, for the pitch. What's the capex on this? So how big does my farm have to be for this to be worth it?
So the optimal scale is a 10,000 acre farm. We're not buying the farm, but the processes that we put in place cap out at $155 million per project. The availability of $100 million in commercial lending is already in place. Mike has taken care of that with investors who tell us that the minute we have our 25 million asset investment and 25 million state of South Dakota bonding, they will in fact insert the last 100 million and the project will be complete. So there is Mike could send you the capex on this if you would like, and I appreciate your question. Thank you.
We have a very detailed use of proceeds and application. 90-some% is with hard assets that are fairly standard. In fact, they're all standard. There's no specialty. There's cheese making equipment is cheese making equipment, but even that can be a home can be found on a used market. So it's a very, very safe asset-based investment.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Flynn. And Andrew, amazing. I also wanted to say that we have one more presenter after this, and that will be the end of the event. The pitch number 5 had an emergency and won't be pitching, so we have a little bit more time. That's why it's okay to continue the roundtable. So Andrew or Macy?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, what's the business model for the company in the future? Is it like a franchise that you would basically sell the scheme, the system to other farms, or you would even build the technology for them? Like, would your team go there and implement the system, or what's the business model for the future if this pilot program works?
Thank you so much for that question. When the pilot program is in place, there will be farmers clamoring for us to come to their location, but we can't impose upon them to manage the entire process that we've put together with the management team that we have. So what we will do is simply select locations where farmers are willing to cooperate. We will then finance that location and put it up. We would like to have 10 more locations accomplished in the next 5 years. And after that, we would like 100 locations in the next 10 years. This is a completely doable goal. If we don't do it by 15 years from now, we will be under producing in terms of the farms, and they will simply be going bankrupt, leftover right. So the business model is that we will in fact build contractual cooperation with farmers and build a proprietary customer service with grocery chains. Grocery chains are looking for a source of material that doesn't inflict upon them the entire environmental history of problematic farming, including climate change and environmental and human health and ammonia and all of that. But rather, they can, in fact, say to their customers that they're bringing them what amounts to the highest quality food at the lowest amount of impact. And that's what they wish to do. We've talked to several of grocery stores that are eager to buy our product when it's available and would like to know that they can borrow from the environmental impact that we offer them to avoid the negative impact that they currently are
Bill, let me
exposed
jump
to.
in. Andrew, we are already registered with the SEC for Reg A+. We're registered for Reg D. We have all the audited financial statements completed for 2 years. We have all the management background checks. Everything is in place. And so we have gone through an awful lot. Lastly, as soon as we get started, this is going to be an immediate target for a takeover at a very nice profit. So that's there. While we have the ability to go out 10 or 15 years with additional franchise type deals, it really won't take very long, and someone's going to acquire us.
Okay. I'm still not 100% sure that I understand your revenue stream. Like, if I'm a farmer and I want to use your system, I call you and I buy what? Is it just the wisdom? Is it just like the know-how, or is it that you actually come to my farm?
You're buying the fertilizer, the waste nutrient, and you're selling your crops. Our revenue stream is specialty cheese, very profitable, huge market, growing tremendously. That's what
Okay.
we're locked in with specialty cheese. That's our revenue
So
stream.
that will be the end product will be the cheese
Yeah, there
which
will be
will
some
generate.
there will be
Yes.
some cows that die along the way, and we'll get
Yeah,
a
of
couple
course,
bucks.
but you make money
Yeah.
from the cheese. That's
Yeah,
the
90 some percent, 99% of our income will be specialty cheese, and that's already in place. We have an excellent cheesemaker from New Zealand who has come over here, has done it, has designed caves, has already set up a number of cheese operations. He's
yeah.
on the website, Neville McNaughton, he's on the website. We have top management in place, dairy operators, cheese producers. We've got the top people in
Okay.
place.
Okay. Yeah, that was one piece that I missed. Sorry. So now I understand that it's
Yeah.
really the cheese part. Okay, thank you.
It's really an integrated from the farm field to the charcuterie board through the grocery store customers, and the grocery stores are our customers, and cheese is what we sell to them.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay,
Thank you,
I
Andrew.
propose that we move now to the last presenter, if that's fine with everyone.
Matilda,
If
you're
I
going to
have
get
one.
me the website or the email addresses then for
Yeah, I will.
Oren?
I will share the.
Yes, Mike, she said she would.
I will. I will.
I'm just confirming. I'm no.
Yes.
Okay.
I just confirming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Matilda, if somebody has questions that pop up after the event is over, please feel free to be directly in contact with me. I would much rather answer your questions than try to teach you about all of the things that go into this process. So please feel welcome to.
Thank you so much for presenting. Okay, we have now the one last company tonight, which is called Proon-Tech, presented by Thea. So Thea, you can share your screen now. Yeah, perfect. You can see your screen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matilda, for facilitating this, and thank you everyone for showing up this evening and for staying all through the session. My name is Thea Girdan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Proon-Tech. And since there are a few of us left here in the call, I'd love to see any of you raise your hands if you've eaten an apple in the past few days. It would be easier if I can see you already on the screen, but if you have, I'd love to see that. Nonetheless, I am putting forward our technology that is focusing on apple orchards and almonds. If my presentation would move, that would be great. There we go. So along with my co-founder, Stefan, where we noticed our technology has its use case in orchards, in his own orchard, where he noticed the cost of pruning the fruit trees, he has apples and plum trees, reaches to 7 billion euros per year, which is around $8.63 billion. And this cost reaches in the pilot orchard that we started in Romania 2 months ago, up to 12,000 euros per 6 hectares for 3 weeks for 6 people. It takes them 12,000 euros to just prune their trees, which happens at least once a year. And it's something that is necessary, it's universal, and it's extremely expensive. And the pruning biomass that results from these cuts, it's underutilized and often goes to waste. It is not quantified or valued in any way. And our solution, the pruning app, is the digital pruning assistant, and it's reducing the pruning labor costs for this operation particularly because we're decreasing the operational cost by training their unskilled workers to prune like skilled workers, like professionals, basically. So we're actually we're leveraging this operational wedge with our app that identifies the branches and the parameters of the branches and the fruit buds. And it actually shows you where to cut with precision. This is how the unskilled workers can get the consistency, the predictability, and the continuity of skilled workers as well. So therefore, you can complement skilled workers with unskilled workers, thus decreasing the operational cost of labor. We're also increasing yield by the fact that the precision cuts and the errors are decreased, and therefore yield is maintained at a higher standard. And we're monetizing the biomass that's left after these pruning operations, which is something that people now burn. So it's basically a value that is thrown out the window. The market opportunity that we've seen so far, particularly in the European Union and backed up by the Common Agriculture Policy, and in the US, particularly by the workforce shifts that have happened in the past year and how people are needing to be trained in orchard operations, where it's an extremely high cost. It reaches about $12.1 billion for orchard operations, which of course includes pruning. So this is why doing the pruning operations with our app through the phone or through the augmented reality glasses, which I'll show you in a bit, we are contributing to regenerative agriculture practices and to actually monetize and use biomass in the farms, and not just that, basically transforming that to energy and transforming it into circular value. Our business model is focused on creating an estimated margin of about 80 to 85% because of a lower cost of acquisition. And you'll see in a slide in a few moments that we've optimized our processes, our systems, our strategy, and our tactics to be able to deliver the app at a very efficient cost and a fair one to both us as well as to the farmers. So we're basically targeting a B2C model complemented with a B2B model for small and medium-sized orchards, traditional orchards, basically for apples and almonds. And we're looking to do this to support farmers in their precision operations for pruning, and also to monetize biomass. And in the future, to create certifications for manual workers, because this skill is only taught in universities, or you can check it out on YouTube, which is taking a lot of time. And basically now you would have the phone, you would just point and shoot to the tree and see exactly what you need to cut. Our team is consisting of myself and my co-founder, Stefan. We are the co-founders of Proon-Tech, and we're backed up by our advisors on the voluntary carbon markets because we're not operating in a void, as well as with a biotechnology advisor. Stefan and I have known each other for 20 years. We were high school colleagues, and our experiences, I believe, greatly complement each other. So my experience as an agriculture economics expert, as well as go-to-market strategies in the past, I have helped agtech startups scale to the US and the EU in the past, and I believe it's a great foundation to support our startup moving forward. And Stefan's experience is extremely vast in robotics and machine learning, as well as in AI and machine and pruning. And I think this is how we're complementing with the networks that we bring, both in engineering and the technical part, as well as the strategic partnerships, as well as the farmer and agriculture industry, which I bring. And our progress has been showing a lot of traction and recognition in the past year, especially. We've been through programs, acceleration programs, and we're currently in the She Wins Climate program backed up by the World Bank. And we were at the E2G Food last week in Warsaw, showcasing our app on the international scale. And our technology is patented in the US with the augmented reality glasses, which I was telling you earlier about, so farmers can have their hands free to go about the pruning operation. And this is why we have been nominated in the Global Innovators Awards Top 100. We're looking to complement our activity with universities, with meaningful and relevant universities in the orchards and agriculture industry. And this is why we've opened our US entity in Montana this year. And to go to the juiciest part is the active partnerships that we have right now, meaning that we have partnered with an R&D institution here in Romania for fruit tree growing, and the actual orchard that you saw the pictures from the beginning, which we deployed 2 months ago. And we have signed 3 other LOIs with orchards here in Romania. And Google Cloud for Startups has supported us last month with cloud credits to deploy our app as of next year. Our roadmap consists on development and calibration, and to have the expertise in the background to service the customers as of next year. We're looking to create training manuals for the teams to support them with the AR glasses and integration with drones and other tools to help farmers do this faster. We're looking to scale moving forward all the way to 2027. We're raising up to 450K euro seed round. We'd love it to be a hybrid round, particularly targeting angel investors. And I know that Maisie earlier asked about the investor profile. I know she didn't ask us, but I'm going to mention that anyway, because it's something that we've been looking at for investors who are actually looking to help farmers to optimize their operations, because there are farm management apps, but not any farm operations for pruning and managing trees this way. So this is where I believe we could definitely be of service to the farmers that you work with or know of, and we would definitely be able to accelerate the finalization of our pruning beta app as of next year, to hire the necessary people to skyrocket this, and to finalize our market entry in the EU and the US. Thank you so much for your attention for my pitch, and let's turn each branch into profit. I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you very much, Thea, for the pitch.
Heather,
Okay,
can I start?
Yeah, sure. Yes,
okay.
go ahead.
Hi, Thea.
Hey.
Thank you for a great pitch. I loved it. I think it's my favorite so far. And it was very easy to understand what you're doing. I like that. Regarding the technology. Regarding the traction, I think like the logos and all the things don't add that much. I would replace that with something more tangible, something, maybe some numbers. What you were saying, like through your words was maybe more valuable than what I'm seeing on the slide. So that's just a little bit of a feedback. So now and I will send you some more feedback later on, but
Appreciate that.
I have a question about robotics, because I have been in touch with a lot of founders, especially in Silicon Valley, who are now trying to implement fully robotic solutions. And I have seen this interesting approach that I'm just wondering if you consider it or not, where there are no fully robotic pruning startups or technology yet. I know that. But a lot of startups start with collecting data, how manual pruners are pruning the trees so they can actually later develop the robotic technologies themselves, or they can sell the startup to another startup who is building the robot. And what I've seen in your pitch deck is that you are actually having an app which just like makes you gives you an advice how to prune, but it doesn't seem you're actually collecting the pruning process itself. So have you put any thought about like data collection? I see some AR glasses there. So tell me more about how you see your startup in this larger robotic automatic pruning world.
Thank you so much, Andrew, and I really appreciate the question and the context that you facilitated for me. We have taken all this into consideration, and we decided to showcase it this way because initially last year we were already developing the robotics behind it, and there were investors who were, and again, I do believe that this year the investing landscape has thawed a little bit, so it has warmed up in terms of hardware heavy technologies paired with software, and they are more open to this. So last year they mentioned certain investors that we spoke, they said that a pruning robot would be hardware heavy and it would be a bit more difficult to digest.
Yes.
If for us, we realized, and I do appreciate the mention about the pruning data. I have one question though. When you say pruning data, what do you exactly are you referring to? Just to make sure I understand.
Oh, this is super interesting, and I think it's pretty valuable for everyone because everyone is talking in the Bay Area about it. So, do you know Scale AI, the startup that basically offers clean data sets for large language models?
It does
Okay, it
sound
doesn't
familiar,
matter.
I'm
Okay,
not
it doesn't matter. So what
exactly
they
aware of it.
basically do is they offer high quality data to train AI models.
Mhm.
And a very similar problem exists for robots, where you need a lot of data to teach the robots how to operate in very complex environments. And
Yeah.
one approach is basically put AR glasses or just actually glasses with cameras and sometimes LiDARs or radars, and you record the process of a skilled worker pruning the tree. So later the robot can learn from that data and do the pruning, because mechanically it's not a problem. Like having scissors,
Yeah,
robotic
that's not the
scissors, that's
issue.
easy. The problem is how you do the pruning and how you teach the robot to navigate in an orchard. So that's what I meant by the data. Are you recording the skilled workers pruning process?
Yeah, I really do appreciate you mentioning that. Again, it's basically you're offering the context for my answer. Yeah, we took that into consideration, the fact that it's easy to slap on a shear on a robot, which we could do that. It's the precision factor that has to be taken into account. Otherwise, it's just going to be like a robot going in crazy into an orchard and cutting everything. So
Yes.
that's exactly what we're looking at. So our app has started to create the repository for the pruning, the precision pruning. And since it's a system that is very similar, we can make the transition toward other fruit varieties like citrus and oh, has my screen stopped or?
Yeah, is it okay?
Okay.
Or did you want to show something?
No, that's fine. I can just kind of
Yeah,
sit here.
yeah. I
Okay.
mean, it's like we see each other in the bigger screens. It's better.
Yeah, it's good. It works for me. And we're looking to create the pruning repository so that robotic pruning can be done across the world. And I'm really happy that you mentioned that, and it sounds like you're very aware of the landscape, that particularly in orchards, you can use the similar methodology to do that across the world. So pruning for example, my favorite apple in the whole world is the Washington State University Cosmic Crisp apple, which is mind-blowing. And a part of our strategy is to work with them to become the app for pruning their trees.
So why I mentioned that this is really interesting, but it totally changes the business model. And I really want you to think about this for the future, because what you are saying is that you are basically selling the app to help orchards cut costs.
Yeah.
But what happened last year is that you pay the orchards to wear your glasses and you record the pruning data. So, and then later you sell the startup to another robotic startup, or you transform your startup into a robotic startup. This is really crazy, and it has been happening in the last year, where instead of them paying you for the advice, you pay them for collecting the data in the orchards. Because the data is the gold mine. So I'm just like telling you, just like I have seen maybe 15 startups in the last 2 months who are switching from AI helping farmers into, please, can we just go to your farm, to your orchard, and collect data for future robotic applications? So this is really like just something to consider, because when I first heard it, I was like, what? You are paying them to help them? Like, what sense does it make? But now the tide has shifted, and it starts to make sense a little bit. So just something crazy to consider, but I have seen too many of those to ignore it.
I hear you. Thank you, Andrew. Honestly, after the past 2-3 years, nothing sounds crazy anymore.
Yes.
And actually, there have been orchardists and farmers cooperatives that came to us for us to develop this for their orchards, to become the stewards of their orchard. That's our mission. So there are apps or startups out there who do this. Yet hearing you say that they had to pay the farmers to do that, well, we created pull in our network in the EU, and not just in the EU, as well as in the United States. We've spoken to traditional orchards, to people who own inherited orchards and so on, like tech people who have like acres and acres of apple orchards, for example, near New York State, which we spoke with. And mentioning and kind of segueing into what you mentioned about the logos earlier, there was one particular logo there at the Select USA Global Investment Summit, where we were last year. We were able to connect to states that really have skin in the game in terms of orchards, like Washington State or New York State, and also Minnesota and Georgia.
Okay. Well, that's great. If they want your product, that's great. I'm just saying, like, maybe sometimes their money is less worth than their data. That's all what I'm saying. Like, what you can learn in their orchards might be more valuable than the money they are paying you.
Absolutely.
That's just the pitch. Yeah, you can have both, sure.
Yeah, appreciate that.
And sorry for taking so much time, but
no, I
really
love questions. And if you mentioned you have a bit more feedback, I'd love to have it, and maybe if we can
let's talk more one-on-one
afterwards. I love it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Who would like to go next? Oren or Amber, Flynn or Macy?
Yeah, I would just like to say that the autonomous robotic picking technologies, obviously in the first world countries, the cost of picking is becoming such a major element in the cost of fresh produce that anything and everything that develops that combines robotics with applications and with AI or machine learning is interesting and is exciting to me. So I'd like to privately hear more about the company.
Awesome. Thank you, Oren. Let's follow up after that. I can send you an email. I got it from earlier.
Excellent.
And thank you, Amber, for the feedback. Regardless, I'd love to get in touch with you because you mentioned you work directly with farmers, and I think that would be amazing for us to understand more about what they do and what their alternative solutions are right now. Just out of curiosity, I'm a very curious person, and I love to see how the impact it has on what we're working on beyond just what's being done nowadays with data gathering, which is extremely valuable, but also the human contact is highly important as far as I've seen regarding farmers.
Yeah. Yeah, Theo, let's stay in touch. I will just caveat that the growers in our network are primarily broadacre row crop growers, so not necessarily any orchard growers, but yeah, let's stay in touch.
I understand. I previously worked in agrochemicals on row crops and large crops, so I understand that. If anybody has any more questions, I'd love to receive them. Otherwise, I can drop my LinkedIn profile there. We can connect afterwards. So,
Oh, I'm sorry, I was on mute. I was saying, yeah, Flynn could go give a feedback or question.
Yes, very happy to. Kind of linking into the other questions that came previously for companies that are trying to build harvesting robots for this space. Are you trying to work together with them? Is that something, because that might be the more complex task? Is that something that you're worried about in the future, or is that more a collaborative approach you take there?
I appreciate that, Flynn, particularly that you mentioned the collaborative approach. That is something that we're more into. Not necessarily worried about that because we're all working toward the greater goal of helping farmers, and therefore there will be some way of revenue sharing. I know that technology moves fast nowadays, particularly when it comes to data gathering, and the more money you have, the faster you can do things. And this is why we're fundraising, and we're looking to spread the word, to gain more awareness about this, because it's beginning to be to come more and more toward us, how a lot of orchards across the EU and the US are facing these challenges, particularly with their manual workers. So there is the issue of data and the data availability. Some of it is costly. Some of them, they just say that ain't nobody got time for that. Sounds weird, but a lot of them have told us this. So when it comes to the operational, the pragmatic aspect of being there in the farm and having this kind of technology, they say they'd use it. A lot of them have said, yeah, if you give me an augmented reality glass, which has like the overlay on the lens, which we're deploying next year, they said it would be very useful, especially since we're also gathering the data regarding the biomass that's resulting.
Cool, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Flynn. Maisie, would you like to give the final word? Maisie? Maybe she's not. Are you still with us on the call? Maybe not. Some tech difficulty. Okay. All right. There was a few technical difficulties on this session, fortunately, but on and off, it was an interesting session. Hope you enjoyed it, and I want to thank everyone for joining.
Thank you.
And I will be sharing the contact list to everyone who attended, and also the recording. So if you want to like share it to someone else, or watch it all again, it's possible. Yes, so thank you so much for your time, and
Thank you
hope
for
to
having
see
us.
you. So
Thank
hope
you
to
for
see you
putting
at
this
some other
together.
event.
Thank
Hope to
you,
see you
everyone.
again.
Don't forget to download the Track Your Impact app.
Yeah.
Appreciate your
Exactly.
time.
All right,
All right.
bye-bye.
And have a
Thank
good
you, Nancy.
December month, and happy end of year.
Happy
Bye-bye.
holidays.
Bye-bye.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.